Afternoon, everybody. I hope you're all doing well and that you're enjoying some hobby time this weekend. Hopefully, I thought I'd just take the opportunity just to do a quick video, show you what I've been working on this week, as I've had a bit of a break from doing the Carthaginians, which I was doing for most of October, right, all of October, and as I've sort of been enjoying the Lord of the Rings games that we've been playing for the Middle-earth strategy battle game, and I've had this Éowyn kit since Christmas, I think. So somewhere there's a video, I think, where I say when I got it. I should probably go back and watch that. Yeah, I've been painting her up. So this is Éowyn as she appears at the Battle of the Pelennor Fields, along with Merry, the Hobbit, who she takes into battle. And it's at this stage that she is disguised as Dernhelm, because she wants to fight and she's been forbidden from fighting, so she disguises herself as a man, and then she goes into battle along with her brother Éomer and her uncle Theoden. Theoden is ultimately slain by the Witch King of Angmar, and she avenges him and kills the Witch King in turn, but is wounded in the books by the Black Breath. In the film, she just gets like her arm smashed in and battered by the giant mace. But like I say, I really enjoy painting this. I've taken my time on this week. I've taken time on the horse, which is something that I hate, but I have enjoyed it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to stop the turntable. I'm going to get rid of it, and I'm just going to show you a little bit more closely sort of what I've done. So there we are. There is Dernhelm, Éowyn. So as you can see, it comes with a passenger model for Merry. Now there are rules for passengers in the Middle-earth strategy battle game, but I believe Dernhelm, whose rules are in Gondor at War, is actually the only character in the game whose passenger actually gives them a bonus. I believe he gives her an extra attack. Now, what's quite cool about this, you can see here is Éowyn's arm around him. Now, I was wondering how sturdy this was going to be, but actually he is removable. And there we have it. So if I want Éowyn on her own, there we go. And you can see there's another arm moulded underneath. He's just got, it's just perfectly moulded for him to slot on there. Don't really need to pin him. There we go. He's not coming off. There we go. So that's quite cool, I thought. So here she is. So I've tried to base the colours more or less on what I've seen in the film. There's a book I've got called I think it's called like Weapons and Warfare of Middle Earth, and there's some good stills in there of her armour, which has this like burnished affair. It's not anything special because she's just trying to be dressed up as a normal member of the Rohirrim. So that's what I've tried to paint. The horse, I've done several layers on the flesh with a base of wildwood. Everything on here was contrast paints and then normal painting. But I hate painting horses, I really do. So, but I persevered on that one, and I'm pleased with how that's come out. The cloak as well, I've just tried to highlight multiple layers, but using different greens just to show, I don't know, just not a shimmer, but just some multiple colours on it. I'd say multiple colours, multiple shades of green. Well, I think it's come out well, and then added some weathering on there. And the base, very simple basing, but it fits in with the rest of my my Lord of the Rings miniatures, who are all based for the Pelennor Fields. So effectively just a dry dead grass and some flowers and some tufts. So in the box you have the option of giving her a bear head and also a sword, but because it's the mounted version and that's where she charges in the Ride of the Rohirrim, I thought that looked better like that, and so I really enjoyed doing this model. But of course with these you get the foot models as well, so for if they're dismounted or if you just want to take them dismounted. So here is Merry. I don't remember him having a shield in the film. Maybe I'm wrong. So I actually painted all of these at exactly the same time. So when I painted the colour on this cloak, I painted it on the mounted one as well. The same with the face and the armour. I was just picking them out so it had that same consistency and the same sort of colour variation. It seemed to work quite well, and these are actually really nice to paint. So and the problem is when you're painting things that are lots of browns and greens, sometimes it can be quite hard to find variation. Well, I think I've managed it, so he doesn't all look like he's just one colour. So there he is on foot, and then for the dismounted Éowyn, I chose to go with the bareheaded model just as she's taking their helmet off to stab the Witch King in the face. And there we go. Really enjoyed painting these. Lots of fun. Now, say what you will about GW, but these kits that they've done for the Lord of the Rings, for the Hobbit miniatures, these new character kits, they are brilliant. The sculpting is fantastic, and the precision in them is brilliant as well. I think they cost about 20 quid. So they are on the more expensive side, considering that's what you get in the set. However, you're not going to have that many of them in your army, and they are lovely miniatures. I am planning on doing some more Middle-earth content. There was a bunch of stuff planned, and then the second lockdowns happened, so that won't be occurring at the minute. However, I have completed some scenery, which I got for Lord of the Rings, and for any fantasy game really, which I'll show you now. Okay, I've had to zoom out quite away for this one. I nearly had to get the wide angle on to get this in. So I've painted this up as it's Gondorian Ruins. So if you look at the Gondorian structures, they've got this kind of white rock. It's not quite a marble, and that's what I tried to convey here. Now, if you've watched my videos for a while, you'll know I bought some 3D printed terrain off eBay before, and I painted that up in a similar fashion, and I used parts of it on the base of my Witch King, and it's the same set. This was done by a different printer though. Now the print quality on this isn't as good as some of the other ones I've done. You can see the striations when you zoom in. However, I think with weathering and dry brushing, that doesn't matter. They just look like patterns on the stone to me, or on the tiles. So it doesn't bother me for the price of what it cost, which wasn't very much. So I base coated this with a pale grey primer, slathered it in Apothecary White, the contrast paint, and then dry brushed it with Ultron Grey. That was all of the painting, and then I just smushed weathering pigments into it and then fixed them in place with White Spirit. And I tried to put the pigments basically where dirt is going to form, so in corners or in areas where dirt might have got dragged on the steps. I use a couple of different pigments. I use Pro Pigments, which I highly recommend. These are great. You can get these from art suppliers and model shops online. They're not very expensive. And I also use Secret Weapon Miniature pigments. So what we've got here: Faded Green, Rust Orange, and that's meant to be Dark Earth, but that's a sand one. I don't know why it came in that box. And what I do is I smush those in, blend them in, fix them with White Spirit, and then you can see. So I'll show you. So I've left the top of this removable. Now if I get out close, you'll be able to see those striations, but from 3 foot away on a table, I don't think that's too much of a problem. And you can see here I've just sort of mashed in the pigments into there, blown them off, knock them about with a brush, and then fix it with White Spirit. And then what I did was I just run PVA in lines, trying to keep it random, or where moss might collect. And then these are knock leaves. You can usually get like a big bag of these, and they are great for making sort of these kind of patterns. And this bit is removable as well. So yeah, I can say I'm really pleased. Now the fun thing is about with all these people who are 3D printing is basically they get a lot of offcuts and failed prints. So what I did was I actually contacted someone who does this printing on eBay, and I just said to him, you know, do you have, you know, failed prints that you'd be willing to sell? It just so happened that they did, because I had a bit of a plan, but I didn't want to buy really nicely cast stuff for it. Hang on, I'll just show you the side just before I get these out. As I was saying, just about the pigments, actually, just to jump around, is putting these pigments on the sides of the buildings. It just helps break up what might otherwise be a very bland wall. So it's just quite, I just find them quite handy for, especially for terrain. And just to give you an idea of the scale of this, hang on, where is she? There she is. There's Eowyn in there. So it's a decent sized piece of terrain. That would be good as an objective in the middle, or as just a piece of terrain to fight over. Anyway, sorry, back to what I was saying about the terrain. Now, I didn't want to get a nice piece of fully formed terrain. what I was planning on doing. So I'd seen they had people selling these statues. Now you might have already seen I've done one of these. I got 4. And basically what I said was, if you've got any sort of like miscast ones or ones in material you don't like, and it just so happened he did. So he bundled a few of them together when I ordered this, and it just cost a little bit extra, but nowhere near what they would cost if they were really nicely like formed. So as you can see, you can it's quite light material. It was very easy. You could easily break this. This one I'm going to paint up normally like I did the other one, but I've been having a bit of a play. I wanted to do some broken ones, which is why I didn't want nice ones. So I just used clippers and a knife and what do you call it, a little brass saw, and I just took this apart and then filled it with milliput, and then just chiseled pieces off it just to look like some people have had a go, basically. And then on this one here, carved a big chunk out of that, filled this here with modelling compound, and then I've used the chunks that have come off of it, there we go, and that will form other pieces of scatter terrain for us to fight over. So between this and the other pieces I've got, it's going to be very nice. I mean, these statues are pretty big. I mean, here's a hobbit. Well, probably shouldn't put a hobbit in for size. That's probably the wrong. There we go. There's Eowyn for size. So they are going to be. It's going to be some decent scenery. So yeah, if any of you are interested, it's worth contacting some of these people, because you know they do have misprints, and sometimes they'll just do a bag full, and you could use it as decent basing material if you wanted to, you know, have your guys jumping over ruins. But yeah. I'm pleased. So I'm going to get these painted up this weekend. These will be done in exactly the same way: pale grey, apothecary white, and then dry brushed with Ultron, and then weathering in the same fashion. I did and ah about like maybe painting some like orc sigils over them, just to show like maybe they've been what do you call it, desecrated, but it's I don't know, maybe not. I quite like just the ruin look here, and then it will let me use it for other games as well. Anyway, I hope you're all well. I'll leave up some photos of all of this at the end. I'm hopefully going to be moving on to putting together some English Civil War next, and I will catch you all again soon. Stay safe. See you later. Cheers.